Welcome to another color compare video. Today we are looking at red. So this is all about different kinds of red, and we do have two reds on the Citadel side this time. We have I would say it's a classic Mephiston Red. This is one of their kind of flagship colors. I don't even had like a coffee mug of it or something at one point. And then we have Khorne Red, which is the other base coat red of the Citadel line there. Definitely different. How different, we'll see on a swatch stick. On the Army Painter side, there are a bunch of reds to choose from. And from those reds, I have selected these three. We have Pure Red. It's just classic red, I guess, with 100% color match primer available for it. And then Dragon Red, which is a darker red. I do own the primer for this as well, and use it on my squigs. They're all red, so it makes sense to prime them red. And then Vampire Red for a little bit darker red, because I really think that these Citadel might lean towards that darker kind of path. And in fact, they do, right? So we have the swatch sticks here. We can clearly see there's our Mephiston Red and our Khorne Red. You do see Khorne Red, darker red, but not quite maroon there, versus the Mephiston Red, which I would say is more of a brighter red. These are both, a little bit muted base coat kind of tones, and that's completely fine. On the Army Painter side, let's take a look at those, and then we'll compare them across brands here. We do have our Pure Red being a very bright, shiny, almost pink red, maybe kind of a dark salmon type color there, I would say. And then, let's get these in the order of the bottles there. We do have our Dragon Red. This is a red that I'm a huge fan of. I use it for a lot of things, really just like the tone. So that's kind of my classic go-to red. And then we have our Vampire Red, which is a hair darker, though not quite so noticeable. One thing that is interesting as you're looking at these, take a look at that Dragon Red. And I discontinued the half white, half black swatch sticks because they weren't really showing any useful information in practice. This is the first time I think I've actually seen maybe a little bit of a difference on the swatch stick. I will say in general, if you prime your whole model, white versus all black, you will notice a little bit of a difference in the overall outcome of the colors. I say use the primer that works best for you. Some folks, like I really like painting over black, and so I paint over black a lot. If you're painting with contrast or speed paints, you're probably going to want to paint over a lighter color like white. I say use the primer that works for you. If you like painting over white or a light gray or even a darker gray, go for it. So there we go. There's our Army Painter side. And let's just kind of see where these Citadel colors stack up. And I was a bit surprised by this, actually, because I suspected Mephiston Red would actually be closer to this Army Painter Pure Red, and it's really not. Pure Red is really a lighter red than either of the Citadel base paint reds. So if you got the Citadel base paint reds and I just want a lighter red, a brighter red, that Army Painter Pure Red might be for you. So we'll kind of stick that up at the top here, move these Citadel colors down, and see what we're doing with next. Mephiston Red versus Dragon Red, a little bit darker on that Mephiston Red, I think, which is interesting because Khorne Red is then even darker than that. And so, maybe Mephiston's maybe just a little lighter, but you can kind of see those different colors. They're all just ever so slightly different reds. I have to say, I really like the Dragon Red, I really like the Pure Red, and I really like the Khorne Red. Those are my three favorites here. So let's set down the Pure Red. We've kind of seen that's a little bit on the lighter side. Let's take this Mephiston Red versus the Dragon Red. Nice and up close there. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit darker than that. Is it close to that Vampire Red? Those are pretty close. You might be able to get away with, painting one over the other and doing a bad job and not being able to hardly tell. So those are really close, that Mephiston Red and that Vampire Red. Adding on our Khorne Red here, looking at that versus Dragon Red, I thought these would be more similar, and they're not. The Dragon Red is definitely a little lighter, and it's got maybe a little more of a pinky purpley. I don't know what to call that. You see what I'm talking about? Very interesting there. The Khorne Red versus the Vampire Red. We're looking at similar. Again, that Khorne Red is just on that kind of darker, more maybe muted side of things. And so I think what we're seeing here really is between the two brands, your Army Painter Reds are all just a little bit brighter. They've got that, they're more saturated, whereas the Citadel are a little bit more desaturated. And I really think that is, it's very clear in the Reds, but I think that's kind of a trend in the Citadel. Not one that we've seen a lot on the color compare, but that's just my general impression. It's a little bit of a grimdark kind of thing, if you will. Anyways, there you go. There's the color compare of red paints. If I owned none, which ones would I get? I always like to answer that question. And the answer is I would absolutely get the Dragon Red because I'm going to grab the primer of that for sure. I do believe you can get a Mephiston Red primer from Citadel. Mephiston Red is not really quite the color for me. I prefer the Khorne Red from Citadel, so I'm going to definitely get some Khorne Red and some Dragon Red, and then if I need a brighter red, I'm going to throw that Pure Red in there as well. Some honorable mentions from the Army Painter side is we do have a color called Abomination Gore. I have it in the D&D paint. It's called Vampire Garments. Don't confuse it with Vampire Red. It says it on the bottle. It's a match to Abomination Gore. This color, you can kind of see it on the top there of the bottle because I swatched the tops of my bottles. I didn't end up putting this on a swatch stick because I don't really have a full paint of this, and it's kind of an interesting color. It's not quite in the red spectrum of the others. It's definitely a lot more of that darker towards maroon. The other one that's worth mentioning is that I do also have is this Effects Glistening Blood, and the big difference here is you have a very glossy paint. So you can kind of see it shining on the top of that cap there. It's a very glossy paint because, I mean, it's supposed to be glistening blood. This is an effects paint. So would you use this on a model? You could if you want a really bright, shiny, reflective red. And so I mention that because if you wanted to make like a vehicle or something, it's supposed to be, like a shiny red finish. You've got a couple options. You could go straight for that, or you could, of course, put a gloss varnish over any of these. Anyways, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Hope this was useful to you, and take care.